Hi, welcome to Naptime Nutrition. I'm Yaffi Lvova, registered dietitian, nutritionist, and owner of Baby Bloom Nutrition. Very excited to be back with you this week. Last week, my little guy was under the weather and wow, it was intense. So I'm back with you to talk about speaking to kids about nutrition. So I told you who I am, Baby Bloom Nutrition. I also own Toddler Test Kitchen. If you're a Phoenix local, come join me at Bertuccio Farms. And then next month, I'm going to be back at the Farm South Mountain, and those dates will be on my website at toddlertestkitchen.net. So let's talk about talking to your kids about nutrition. First, I want to say that I am developing a talk that's meant for teachers about how to speak to their classes about nutrition. It's ideal to have a professional come in to talk to kids about nutrition, someone who's well-versed in child psychology as well as nutrition, in order to communicate these messages in a very positive way that's not based in fear. A lot of our nutrition information does come from fear and gets transmitted that way. Kids are extremely black and white. And while that's ideal, there are health classes that kids are taking at school and units on health, and it's built into the curriculum. So what I would like to do is to help foster a sense of confidence in teachers that they're teaching their class from a positive light, from a science-based light, in an age-appropriate way that will help them develop confidence and help them feel knowledgeable and confident in the choices that they make. And the truth is that rule number one, kids are not making many nutrition choices. These choices are being made by people around them. So when we approach it from an angle that is fear-based and they have no control, it really sets up a child for bad feelings when it comes to food. So just letting you know that happened, that I'm working on that. So if you are involved in PTA or you know teachers who want some continuing education in that direction, feel free to connect me. So kids are very black and white. There's the thing, kids are extremely black and white. So while adults might talk to each other about moderation and that type of concept, that doesn't work for kids. Kids are extremely black and white. Yes, no, good, bad, healthy, not healthy. And they moralize that concept as well. So if a cookie is bad, then there's no part about it that's good. And if you eat a cookie, then you are bad. And if mommy gives you a cookie, then she is bad. You see how this really devolves and causes a lot of internal conflict and negative emotions for children. So it's very important to understand that they're coming from a very black and white way of thinking and address it like that. So we don't really talk about foods as good and bad. And the truth is, as adults, we also shouldn't see foods as good and bad. And I'll give you some verbiage you can use. We also want to stay away from healthy and not healthy. They're just too young to understand the concept. Healthy is multifactorial. And a lot of times when we're talking about nutrition, I would say most of the time, we're talking about health as it relates to the physical body. And as we know, when we really think about it, health is much more than just the physical body. Health is the mental state. Health is emotions. Health relates to your social atmosphere as well, your interpersonal relationships. And so when we limit our definition of health to just what's going on in the body, it's really not a positive way to move forward. And kids don't really understand that. That's not a conversation that you want to have with children. It's extremely confusing for them. So we don't talk about moderation. We don't talk about foods as good and bad because the truth is that no food is entirely good or entirely bad unless it is stolen or if there is an allergy or other adverse reaction to that food. So yeah, for me, mangoes are bad. Across the board, no positives because they will land me in the hospital. So that's why they would be bad in my case. But in your case, viewer, it's not bad for you. Mango is a source of fiber. It's a source of a creamy texture and a vibrant flavor. It's a source of vitamin C, which is great for your immunity. It maybe brings you back from a tropical vacation. You get to go back to that time when you're thinking about it. So nothing is consistent from person to person. There's something different. When we talk about health, there isn't one definition of health that applies to everyone. There are many different definitions. That child who thinks that cake is bad or cookies are bad, they're going to go to a birthday party and they're going to have birthday cake. So cake is bad unless you're at a birthday or a wedding or some kind of holiday, kids need these concepts expressed to them in black and white terms, the way that it fits in their brain. And as they get older, you can change the conversation. I did a recent post on Instagram talking about calories. We had a container of almond milk on the table and it said 30 calories per serving. My 6-year-old twins asked what that meant. They're 6 years old. So I said that 30 represents how much energy it gives you. And the conversation was just so funny from there. Oh, I'm going to run. Oh, I'm going to jump so high. They got so excited about what they could do with that energy. And that's what we want for our kids when they're relating to nutrition. We want them to understand it from a positive perspective. What can this food do for you, not to you? So we can talk about variety with kids. They can understand there are different foods and we want to have lots of different kinds of foods in order to be healthy. And that's pretty much where that ends. You can talk about different flavors. There are 5 different flavors. If you have children who are 5 years old and up, draw a picture of the tongue and show them, here's where we taste sweet, and here's where we taste bitter, and here's where we taste salty. Can you tell me a food that's sweet? How about one that's bitter? What happens if you take this piece of cereal, whatever, and you have it on this side of your mouth? Okay, what about the back of your mouth? What does it feel like if you crunch on the front of your mouth on this piece of cereal? Does it have a different taste? This is how we have to talk to kids about nutrition. We have to talk from an excited and entertaining, engaging perspective so that they understand food is not to be feared. Food can be understood and food can be fun. And there are a lot of things you can do with it. You can make a necklace out of Cheerios. You can make cookies and feel the dough squish between your hands. This is all fun stuff, but kids need to see food as something that is a source of learning, not a source of fear. So body size. A lot of times, especially when they're starting elementary school, kids start to notice things about each other. And of course, if you've got kids, then they've probably noticed things like body size or skin color or tall, short, all of these things. They've noticed it ahead of time before starting school. And you're able to calmly approach this and say, yeah, people have different skin color. People are different sizes. But when they're noticing it and another child is the object of that noticing, that can cause a really uncomfortable conversation. So it's very important to get across the idea to kids that body size is multifactorial. People are different shapes and sizes. We as adults are very stuck in this idea that people who are bigger are unhealthy and people who are smaller are healthier. And that really is not true in the slightest. There are plenty of people who are heavier, who have fantastic blood panel, who sleep well, who have positive interpersonal relationships, and who have stamina that I certainly, as a smaller person, I don't have much stamina. And if you want proof of this, honestly, go to your local Ironman. Watch people cross the finish line. You will see a variety of different shapes and sizes of people crossing the finish line at different times. So people who are thinner, you don't know why they're thinner. I was very thin. I was at my thinnest after having babies because I had postpartum depression. I wasn't able to care for myself in a way that would have supported what was for me a healthy body weight. And I was getting compliments. Oh, you look great. How did you drop all the body weight? Well, I'm extremely anxious and very depressed all the time, and that's my secret to success. So now that I've expressed to you from an adult point of view that size is not indicative of health, this is how we talk to kids about it. Kids come in different sizes and shapes. And that's it. And you don't have to talk more about it, especially when they're younger. And as they get older, you can talk more about the scientific aspects of nutrition. And I love to keep it scientific. And I use this also when talking to my kids about where babies come from and the planets. What are the planets made of? And how did they get up there? And how are they circling the sun? And how many stars are there? These are all scientific concepts and can be delivered head on if that's consistent with your values. So you want to address these conversations neutrally because kids are asking, they're inquisitive, they ask questions and they want to know the answers and they find everything exciting. So we can meet them with that excitement and answer neutrally, happily, joyfully, and scientifically. So what does the science mean? Well, go back and check on that Instagram post. I probably should have attached this so I could put it on the screen. But we can talk to them about fat and carbohydrates, protein, fiber, micronutrients. These are all scientific terms and scientific concepts. So when my kids look at a food, we talk about what is the main nutrition in this food. In an avocado, it's fat. What does fat do for you? It helps your brain grow. What about carbohydrates? They give you energy. What about protein? Protein helps your muscles grow big and strong, and fiber helps clean out your intestines. Yes, my children know what intestines are. I have a fantastic anatomy book that they just love, but you can say tummy, whatever works for you. And micronutrients, vitamin C helps you to keep from getting sick. Oh, I have some fun people watching. Hi, Natalia. She's a fantastic pediatric dietitian. And Allison, hi, also a speech therapist. Wow, it's like a super crew today watching. Thanks for joining me. So I think it's very important to address these in a non-demonizing way with a joyful perspective. And just remember what it's like to approach the world with a questioning view. Okay, so what else? What else can you do as an adult? You want to avoid diet talk. I would love to tell you, you are beautiful as you are, and you should care for yourself. And that is an entirely other lecture, and that is very, very true. But a lot of people are not there yet. So where are you, and how can you be positive about yourself, especially within range of those little tiny listening ears that can pick up so much? They are not going to hear you when you tell them for the 1,000th time to say please and thank you. But if you step on a scale in front of them and you cry or you make any kind of comment, they will pick that up much faster than the please and thank you. And I can't tell you why, because that really sucks that that's the case, but that's just parenting, right? That's just real life parenting. So if you're not at a place where you can be happy with yourself, then pretend you are for your kids' sake, and maybe touch base with someone who is an intuitive eating, health at every size dietitian to help you get to that place, or perhaps a therapist who's there. Laugh it off. I'm kind of speaking to myself on that one. I may have gotten a little irritated. I am not perfect, but laugh it off because they only want to make neutral observations. They're only telling you what they see from their innocent little eyes. So try to take it from that angle. Okay, so now for a break from our sponsor. Oh yeah, there's no sponsor, it's just me. So because I'm doing this on my own, I decided to open up a Patreon account, and you can support my efforts for nutrition education there. I'll drop the link in the comments, but it's patreon.com/naptimenutrition. And you are welcome to throw some love my way so I can continue to provide this happy, joyful, cookie-laden nutrition experience for you. And if you have any questions or concerns or topic suggestions, please feel free to drop it in the comments. I always love hearing about that. And I am doing this today because my kids are at school learning about the food guide pyramid, and I am pulling my hair out because I don't know what they're being told. So I was very careful to counteract that this morning. We talked this morning about how every food has a place. And sometimes food is good for your body, and sometimes food is good for your feelings. And cake, for instance, doesn't give back biologically, nutritionally. It doesn't do much for you in that regard. But you know what? I just wrote an article in Nashim magazine about how wedding cake is the healthiest thing in the world because it represents positivity and connection with your community and joyful, optimistic outlook and the start of something new. And what could be healthier than that? So when my kids come home today, we will be making chocolate chip cookies together and talking about what they learned at school, while I reiterate that every food has a place. Some foods feed your body, and some foods feed your heart and your feelings. So thank you so much for watching. Join me next week on Tuesday, 1:15 p.m., Naptime Nutrition, right here on Facebook, on my Facebook page. You're already there. Follow me on Instagram at toddler.test.kitchen. And visit me on Patreon. Click the button. And if you're a Phoenix local, I'm starting up Toddler Test Kitchen classes live again. I'll be at Vertuccio Farms on October 6th and 29th, a Sunday and a Tuesday. And you're welcome to join me there, encouraged to join me there. We're going to have a delicious time creating something fun and feeding your child's curiosity. So if you have a child ages 2 through 6, come join me. Recipes are always vegan friendly. And if you have any other nutrition concerns, please let me know about it. I can make it work for you with at least 48 hours notice. Thank you. See you next week.